Boom! We're back, and today we have Tyler the purple belt against Tanner the blue belt. Tyler's confusing Tanner early on by slapping him because something's falling from the ceiling, but then Tanner gets his own revenge with a nip slip right into the double leg takedown. Great start by Tanner. Now, neither of these guys at this time are wearing gear from X Martial, but if you want to get some great gear, check my link in the description and use my promo code. The first order for business for Tanner to do after that nice double leg takedown is to try and pass Tyler's guard. Now, Tanner has a huge bonus on his side, and that's that Tyler is basically a cripple. His knees are never functioning, but he is able to scoop up double underhooks, and with these he's going to try and elevate Tanner so he can escape from butterfly guard and wind up on top. At the same time, Tanner wants to remain on top as he has an MMA fight coming up, so using techniques relevant to the fight are really going to be the key priority on his list. Tyler's able to elevate Tanner and then he's entering a leg entanglement, but he ends up screwing himself because he forgets his knees are immobile and he has to reset from this position, otherwise he's going to hurt himself. Easy win for Tanner. Now personally, I think it'd be really hard to do any sort of jiu-jitsu if your knees can't bend, but Tyler's too stubborn to stop, so he's going to keep going on. He's just going to have to work some different positions. Tanner does a little bit of feeling out before he decides how he wants to try and attack Tyler's guard. Now Tyler's guard is extremely loose, so it's no surprise that Tanner is very easily able to pass it by hitting a crazy cartwheel pass to get to his backside. The timing of it was great because as Tyler's trying to come up, he was able to hop past the arm, and since Tyler was leaning so far forward, this allowed Tanner to get past the guard and into side control immediately. Tyler's doing a nice job reverse shrimping by pushing against the arm so he can try and escape this bad position, and eventually he works out of side control and can retain guard. Even if you're a wrestler and your top game is extremely strong, it's a good idea to develop a good guard, because eventually you're going to go up against someone better than you and you're going to get swept. So it's good to see that Tyler's working his guard and he prefers to always wrestle up. Wrestling up is the current metagame, especially with ADCC coming up in September, so working this into your game if you don't have it already is going to be extremely helpful to developing your jiu-jitsu skills. Tyler has chosen to use an open guard to try and defend against Tanner. Another big thing is the body lock passing, so if you can play open guard well, then you can stop the body lock. Now Tyler seems to think that he's as skilled as me and he tries a guillotine on Tanner, but somehow when he rolls through, he misses the guillotine completely and actually puts Tanner in the exact same position. So if you want to be better than this purple belt, make sure to press like on my video, then you can have the same guillotine skills that I have and you won't be missing such easy opportunities. Tanner makes a bit of a blunder because he's trying to pass Tyler's guard by going for a backstep, but Tyler times this well and he continues to follow the leg through, giving him a nice single leg. And as Tanner's trying to latch onto a Kimura, let's do my question of the day. Which person from the gym do you want to see more videos of? I've had a lot on Brock and a lot on Ben. Other than those two, who would you like to see? Let me know in the comments below. Tanner is able to throw a nice inverted triangle over Tyler. However, he's not able to cut an angle so he can put his foot right in his knee so he can get a nice lock. Tyler starts to post up so he can relieve some pressure from the choke and potentially move around it, but then he puts his arm back over Tanner so he can maintain side control. He knows this isn't tight enough for Tanner to finish, but he needs to be able to scramble out of here so he doesn't get to a worse spot. We also see that Basalt Spen is in the background, rolling with a humongous individual Derek, and of course he's giving his back. Tyler uses his right leg to step over Tanner, which frees himself from the triangle. However, as he continues to stay on top of Tanner, Tanner is scooting out the back door. He even does a nice penetration, lifts Tyler, and finishes his own takedown to reverse the position. But Tyler's able to grab the wrist, which gives him a little bit of space before he has to give his back. His number one concern now is to keep the hooks out and to get out of this wrestling ride. Now, a key detail that Tanner did to keep Tyler down is they pull him off to the side. If Tyler was able to stay on his knees, he'd be able to work up as Tanner pushed into him, so by bringing him to the side, he can start to try and work the hooks in and always threaten a choke. Now, instead of trying to do the dolphin escape like Ben, if you actually want to escape back control, it's best to peel the hooks. Tyler's always trying to peel the hooks of Tanner, but Tanner was able to establish back half. This allows him to throw in his second hook as well, and now Tanner's looking for the choke, but Tyler's going to continue to spin with him. As he can spin into the guard, he can free himself from back control, avoid the armbar, and now he's in control. You have to give some serious props to Tyler. Not many Americans can overcome the disabilities that they have, but even this cripple is able to do jiu-jitsu and put a lot of pressure on Tanner. This whole time, even when he started on bottom from that nasty double leg, he's been able to get out of bad positions and continue to pressure him, looking for a better position. Tanner throws up a triangle to set Tyler into another trap, but it's not as tight as his earlier one that was inverted. All Tyler has to do now is rotate his shoulder out and it breaks the triangle. He does a great job of bringing his leg over the knee so he can pass in the half guard and start applying that wrestling pressure that all of us fear. Now, the Gracies would tell you the number one rule of jiu-jitsu is something like let your ego go. The real number one rule is never expose your back to a wrestler. Tyler's only thought in his mind is to check Tanner's oil. He takes his back and is even going to trick him by going for a rear naked choke. He gets the arm under the neck and he starts applying the grip turns a nice angle on it, and then once he can finally grab his bicep, Tanner's trying to fight as hard as he can, but he's forced to tap. Now I gotta say, it's embarrassing to lose to a cripple, so Tanner's gonna completely disrespect him by taking his back, throwing in the hooks, and he's looking for his own rear naked choke. But the bell rings and he's out of time. If you appreciate the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for my current viewers and patrons.